you, I'm the Transfer Student Center Coordinator here on campus. So I get to work with all my beautiful transfers. Where the transfers at? Hey, that's right, that's like half of us. Let's just reflect. And so I love doing these things because you get to bring your family and your friends, and I know that you don't do this on your own, right? You do this with the support of your family and your friends, and this is a special way that we get to bring them and share basically that piece of paper that you're getting is not just on your own, right? You're getting this for them and with them. So let's give a round of applause to all of our friends and family right here. Okay, so I have the lovely pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker today. E.L. Sears, aka Baba the Storyteller, is a world-traveled, award-winning professional presenter, activist, author, and speaker. Throughout the early 90s, Sears partnered with community organizations such as the Compton Library, local churches, and the Compton Chamber of Commerce to promote the now famous Stop the Violence campaign. During that period, Sears was integral in helping to create several after-school programs in the cities of Compton and Long Beach, known as Rites of Passage. The programs offered tutoring as well as real-world experiences and in-depth study of culture and ancestry. During this same period, as an executive with the City of LA Department of Water and Power, he was director of the largest program in the nation instituted to support and advance the role of fathers. Always the cultural preservationist, Sears expanded his community building reach globally by including musicianship and the art of storytelling in his presentations. Affectionately known as Baba, he has presented in thousands of schools, children's hospitals, and other institutions across the world. He is recipient of a California State Assembly Certificate of Recognition for his commitment to community in working with troubled teens. The City of Long Beach, California recognized him as their Municipality's Artist of the Year, an award presented by the mayor. He has also earned additional commendations from both the U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress. Recently, Baba was awarded the prestigious Heritage Award by the Aquarium of the Pacific, recognizing his decades of commitment to building community. Now, touring globally, he has become a cultural ambassador, teaching and spreading the word of the importance of identity and self-awareness. Recently, Sears completed a book chronicling the inception of his transformation into an artist and cultural educator. The book is titled Road of Ash and Dust, Awakening of a Soul in Africa. Please put your hands together to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. E.L. Sears, aka Baba the Storyteller.
Before I say anything, I want to open with letting all of you know how honored I am to be here. Transition staff, truly, thank you for putting this together. Families, you are why we are here. You are the whole reason that we are here. Families, I want you to know that tonight I'm recognizing you as well as the graduates. But I gotta give a shout out to the class of 2017. Come on. They call me, affectionately, everyone calls me Babo. Mi nombre, la verdad, es Babo. Viajo por todo el mundo compartiendo mi cultura de mi gente. I want to make sure that I share in more than one language, because you have to give respect to the land that you're living on. The other part is this, so that you understand where I'm coming from and why I am here. Hay un dicho, mi dicho favorito. There's a proverb in Spanish, my favorite proverb, and it will explain why I'm here. Este dicho se dice, dime con quién andas, y te diré quién eres. Tell me with whom you walk, and I will tell you who you are. I need you to remember that as you walk off of this campus, as you graduate, as you go off into the world. Now, I'm a storyteller, and I racked my brain trying to figure out, what do I have to share? And then I realized all of our stories are important, each and every one of us. So I chose 3 specific stories. Now, bear with me. this is something I never do. Most of the stories that I share are teaching stories. Most of the stories that I share are entertaining stories. But every once in a while, when I'm traveling throughout the world, when I get with a group of young adults, I have a question that I ask. The question that I ask them is, do you want entertainment today, or do you want the truth? I've yet to have a group of young adults to tell me they prefer entertainment. Our youth are always saying they want the truth. I don't have to ask this group. So I prepared to give you what I believe is my truth, and I hope that you get something from it. There are 3 pivotal stories that I'm going to share with you today that are true. And when I say I don't typically do this, I don't typically talk about my own life. But I have to today, because I understand the struggle that many of you went through to get here in this room. And the first thing, before I get to those 3 stories, the first thing I want you to understand, and this is something that I know after living more than 5 decades on this earth, you are already a success. You have succeeded. Don't let anyone tell you that success is some brass ring off in the distance that you need to work harder to get towards. You are already a success. If you are sitting in this room, if you are about to walk across that graduation stage, you have succeeded. So I want families, staff, and everyone to applaud your success. Story number 1. Story number 1. Now, these stories are not flattering. They will not make me look good. But like I said, I have to give you the truth. In the early 70s, 11 years old, I fell in love with my 6th grade teacher. Now, when a young boy falls in love, he does everything he can do to impress his newfound love. So I began to read and study, something I hadn't been very interested in before. But Mrs. Johnson, oh, she was beautiful. This was on an elementary school on a military base in Fort Hood, Texas. Now I'm telling you this for a reason. It's called Meadows Elementary. On this military base, I was in the 6th grade, going to school, early 70s, and I was growing into my age of awareness, my age of reason. Now let me give you a little background on this. When I was growing up, the things that I was exposed to were not the things that my classmates were familiar with. Growing up down south, I was exposed intimately to the Klan. I was a young boy whose life was often threatened and hanging in the balance because of the violence of those who hated me because of the color of my skin. I saw crosses burned. I saw older men that I respected lynched. I'm telling you this for a reason, because I want you to know that deep down inside, we have something in common, that pain. The pain. But school was my sanctuary. School was my sanctuary, and as I was coming into my age of reason, I started to think about things a lot, because Mrs. Johnson, she encouraged us to think. And I was standing one day with my right hand over my heart, saying the Pledge of Allegiance. 11 years old. And there was a part of the pledge that stood out to me at 11 years old. That part of the pledge that said, equality for all. Justice and equality for all. 11 years old, my brain got tweaked, and I said, wait a minute. There is no equality for all. Boom. My young mind took a hold of it, and my young mind held on to it. And then every day I would go home, I would ponder this thought. And then one day, on my own, on my own, I made a decision that I would not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Did you hear me say I was going to school on a military base in Texas? Okay, keep that in mind. I didn't consult anyone. I didn't talk to anyone. The thought ruminated in my mind, and I chose my day, and I knew that Mrs. Johnson was going to be impressed with me. That's what I thought. So that day, when all the children in the morning on Fort Hood Military Base at Meadows Elementary stood up to say the pledge, I sat down, indignant. There is no justice for all, there is no equality. Mrs. Johnson kept looking over at me and kept motioning for me to stand up, but I did not, because I was in my truth. After the pledge was over, Ms. Johnson came over, yanked me out of my chair, asked me what I was doing, and I explained to her what I was doing, and then she sent me to the principal's office. But I wasn't afraid. I went to the principal's office. He got in my face and he said, do you understand how many people have died for you and sacrificed for you? And I explained to him my concept of equality and how the pledge didn't say that. And then he said something that shook me to my core. He said, I'm going to call your mother. I had not factored in my mom. Now, since I had not factored in my mother, I was scared. I was scared. I started thinking, what will she do? What will she say? Now, this is a different generation. Okay, the generation I came from, mothers didn't talk much, they just put their hands on you. Oh, some of y'all familiar with this, huh? Okay, so he tells me, the principal tells me, you will not come back to this school until you come and you apologize. Well, I knew I was never going to school again. I thought I was finished. Now, the bus takes me home. There's a bridge. The bus drops us off on one part of the bridge. We have to walk across the bridge and go home. That was the longest walk in my life because my mother was sitting at home waiting for me to get home. I was scared. I wasn't scared while I was at school, but the closer I got to home, oh, some of y'all know this, the more my heart started beating. I walked through the door, and my mother is sitting in that chair. There's that one chair in the house, whenever they punish you, that they sit in. And she's sitting, and she's got her eyes on me. And I'm trying to read her, but I can't read my mom. I'm trying to see, is this going to be a spanking, a whooping, or a beating? It's one of those three. She tells me to come in with the calmest voice. Now, when my mother was calm, that's when she was the scariest. In the calmest voice, she tells me to sit down, so I sit down. And then she says, did you sit down for the Pledge of Allegiance today? Lying was the last thing on my mind. I said, yes, Mommy. She said, listen to me very carefully, son. And look at me while I'm talking to you. So I looked up. She said, the first thing I want you to know is you have every right not to stand for that pledge. I was shocked. That was the last thing I had expected my mother to say. She said, do you understand what I'm saying? I said, yes, Mommy. She said, but I want you to understand something else. She said, human beings have faults, are not perfect. No human being is perfect. But you see, human beings, we strive for ideals that are beyond our reach. But we strive. We strive for those ideas, even though we know we are not perfect, but we strive. And you see, that flag that you would not stand up for today, that pledge that you refuse to say today is not about people. She looked at me and she said, it's about ideals. And she said, young man, listen, because you understand what I am telling you, you have a responsibility to uplift those ideals for others. You have a responsibility to make sure that those ideals become true. Because when I'm dead and gone, when I have been buried, when your grandmother and your grandfather, when we are no longer around, the struggle belongs to all of you. Those ideals. After she finished talking to me, I was ready. I went back to school the next day. I apologized to my principal and I apologized to Ms. Johnson, but I did not apologize for sitting down. I apologized for not recognizing my role in upholding the ideals